I, Esra Asif, PhD candidate from University of Leeds, UK, along with Dr. Christina Papadopoulou, lecturer from Leeds Beckett University, are here to present our paper, I Want You to Panic: Cross-Cultural Perspectives on Climate Change Skepticism. The focus of this study is how mindsets interact and impact climate change skepticism, with the context we look into is global warming. The agenda for today is the need for this study. Our house is on fire. We are less than 12 years away from not being able to undo our mistake and reverse the effects of climate change. Thus quoting Greta's famous speech at Davos, which we all know had a backlash from the world, which shows the divide in public belief and thus the denial around global warming. Even while undergoing a pandemic, in New York, a climate clock has been installed in Manhattan's Union Square, showing how we are tick-tocking our way into an ecological collapse. As you can see here, we've got 7 years and 82 days left. This complex challenge of tackling the climate change and reducing global warming starts with overcoming denial within individuals and consumers to finally act like our house is on fire. So, climate change, fact or fiction? Could the existence of the phenomenon such as a climate change or global warming be doubted despite a scientific consensus? Why would someone accept that global warming is real, while someone else will be completely dismissive? How is there a public divide in existence on current and future effects of climate change and thus global warming? And do happier individuals believe that the effects of climate change have negative consequences for their countries? Our study looks into all of these questions through the following research aim and research questions. Our research aim proposes an experimental methodology, and the study aims to investigate the relationship between mindsets and climate change belief, while exploring how happiness increases individual skepticism on future impact of climate change, as mentioned before, with a focus on global warming. The research questions are as detailed here. The study will advance how high and low construal mindsets are associated with growth fixed mindsets within consumers to thus strengthen weaken their belief in the perception of incremental causes of climate change. Global warming as a focus, as happier countries such as Finland versus countries low on the happiness index such as India tend to be leading the climate change movement. So the study will also examine and compare how happier countries versus less happier countries interact with the mindsets, increasing their current and future climate change belief. The three theoretical lenses that we use for the study are belief polarization, mindsets, in which we look into growth and fixed mindsets, and construal level mindset. The climate change skepticism was developed from the theory of belief polarization. What is belief polarization? It is the opposing beliefs that occur when people receive the exact same information prevalent for global issues, especially prevalent for global issues. The mindsets are growth and fixed mindsets. Growth mindsets are positively associated with one's perception of and of control over their future actions, and individuals with growth mindsets believe in their dynamism. Whereas individuals with fixed mindsets are associated with negative thinking and have higher levels of resistance and denial over future climate change events. Individuals with fixed mindsets thus believe that their basic qualities and issues cannot be changed. Construal level mindset has been developed from construal level theory of social psychology and can be easily characterized as high or low levels in terms of abstractness and concrete. Construal is what event will occur, whereas the key aspect of the theory is the psychological distance, which is the subjective experience of something being close or far away from the individual. This is the conceptual framework, thus looking at the moderation of growth and fixed mindsets. The construal level mindsets are both manipulated, and we look into the effect on current climate change beliefs and future climate change. In the third stage of the study, we would also compare it between India and Pakistan. This would be detailed further in the hypothesis and the methodology. Our H1 will test that mindset has an effect on future climate change beliefs, with fixed versus growth mindset leading to lower versus higher levels of belief about climate change. Activation of high construal levels is expected to raise beliefs regarding global warming, as seen through Trope and Lieberman 1998, as events are seen to be more realistic when high-level controls uh, are manipulated, whereas distant future events enable flexible thinking and dispositional evaluations. And the activation of low-level controls will make people more sensitive towards the existence and current situation of climate change, since it is temporally proximal event. So thus we propose that control level mindset has an effect on climate change beliefs, with low versus high control level mindset leads to higher versus lower levels of belief about climate change. And furthermore, control level mindset has an effect on future climate change beliefs, whereas high versus low control level mindset leads to higher versus lower levels of belief about climate change. Furthermore, the study will look into the interaction of the two mindsets, as growth and fixed mindset is our moderator. The effect of low construal level mindset on climate change belief is strengthened versus weakened for growth versus fixed mindset. And the effect of high construal level mindset on future climate change beliefs is strengthened versus weakened for growth versus fixed mindset. We would expect that participants with countries scoring high on happiness index would have stronger trigger for a growth mindset, as happiness is malleable in nature. As established, the association of high level construal mindset with growth mindset leads consumers to develop strong beliefs in future climate change. High levels of happiness are thus also linked to optimism, malleability, and superordinate events. So we expect that Indian participants who are characterized by lower levels of happiness will construe information more concretely versus Finnish participants um, who have high levels of happiness will construe information more abstractly, and thus we propose that this relationship will be strengthened from with fixed mindsets within individual versus growth mindsets respectively. This helps us hypothesize the effect of high control level mindset on future climate change beliefs is strengthened for growth mindsets among participants who score higher on happiness. The effect of low control level mindset on current climate change beliefs is strengthened for fixed mindsets among participants who score lower on happiness. The methodology that we use for this study to analyze the main effects of high and low level control, the moderation of fixed and growth mindsets on our outcome variable of current and future climate change beliefs within Finland and India is a 3 scenario-based experiments, as you can see over here. The third experiment will collect data from the two countries comparing our initial hypothesis. The sampling method that we use is random convenience sampling method, and the data will be collected from Finland using TNS Gallup Finland and from India using MTurk. These two countries are selected as they will provide a sharp contrast in happiness, as Finland ranks first in the happiness index for the last 2 years and India is constantly on the lower end of the happiness index, ranking 140th out of 156. These are the construal level manipulations which have been adapted from Dwan and Takashi in 2019, with the black and white image being abstract and talks about global warming, and the colored image with longer text being the concrete image, again with the focus on globe. This would be used as our independent variable. Furthermore, these are the manipulations for fixed and growth mindsets. Again, they have been adapted from Chu, Hong, and Dweck 1997. The measures used to analyze these variables, the construal level mindset will be measured using the 10-item BIF scale from Balacher and Wigner 1989. The moderator variable of fixed and growth mindsets will be measured through a 3-item scale from Chu, Hong, and Dweck 1997. The control variable of subjective happiness will be adapted from a 29-item scale of Oxford Happiness Questionnaire, which is from Hills and Arglick 2002. And the outcome variables, as said, have been adapted from Portenga et al. 2019 and is a single item to assess people's belief with regards to occurrence of climate change, firstly in currently and then in the future. The question is, as in the current climate change skepticism is, you may have heard the idea that the world's climate is changing due to increases in temperature of the past 100 years. Do you think the world's climate is changing? Whereas the single item for future climate change skepticism is, To what extent do you think the climate change phenomena will end up in a catastrophe? The data collection process is as detailed here. The first phase will be done in India with high low-level control, fixed and growth mindsets for current climate change belief, and it will be analyzed using ANOVA and moderation analysis. We are currently conducting our phase 1. Data collection 2 would also be conducted in India with high and low control level and fixed and growth mindsets for future climate change belief. Again, the data analysis process will be ANOVA and moderation analysis on the future beliefs. Data collection process number 3 would be between India and Finland. So we'll collect data from both the places and compare high and low control level, fixed and growth mindsets for current and future climate change belief, and would further analyze it using an ANOVA and moderation analysis through process. Finally, the contributions of this study. The study looks into the criticality of future of climate change skepticism. And to our knowledge, there is no pertinent research on future beliefs of climate change. So this study will expand that literature. To our knowledge, this is the first empirical attempt to show an interaction between construal level and growth mindsets, as interaction with mindsets have only been recently recommended in 2016. The proposed research will also aid policymakers and social marketers across cultures, providing an effective frame of climate change debate with abstraction and growth mindsets for forecasted consequences, thus promoting a pro-environmental action. Thank you. Any questions?